Hello, everyone. What if I told you I was a convicted felon? Well, I could have been 54 years ago, just simply being married to the man I'm married to today. My husband is African American, and as you can see, I'm Caucasian. And 54 years ago, people weren't having that. States weren't having that. And there was a complete ban on intermarriage. Much has changed since then. We just recently elected Kamala Harris, who is African American and Asian and married to a Caucasian man, to one of the highest offices in the nation. I'd like to talk to you about the path, educate you a little bit on how it all evolved, how it came to be that I'm not in jail for being married to my husband today, that it's okay for others as well. In doing so, we will talk about the Lovings. The Lovings were a beautiful couple, Richard and Mildred Loving. Mildred was African American and American Indian, and her husband Richard was a Caucasian male. They lived in the state of Virginia. In 1958, they decided they wanted to get married and realized Virginia had a ban on that. Racial integrity is the sentence that was used to ban the two races to marry. They wanted to keep it pure. So off to Washington, D.C. they went, and they got married, and they headed home to Virginia to live happily ever after with their 3 children, living at Mildred's parents' house while Richard was building a home for themselves. They were awoken one morning to the police and were subsequently arrested. The charge was a felony for being married to another race, to specifically African American and Caucasian. They came before the judge, and the judge told them that they were going to be sentenced to 1 year in prison, or they must leave and not come back for 25 years to the state of Virginia as a married couple. The Lovings packed their goods and their children, and they moved to Washington, D.C., where they had been married. It was different for them. They were not used to the big city life. One of their sons got in a car accident, and things were a lot different, and they were homesick. Mildred went back. The couple went back after about 5 years of being gone and were subsequently rearrested. And once again, they went back to D.C., and she began contacting folks to find out what she could do. She contacted Robert Kennedy, who sent her to the Civil Liberties Union, and where 2 lawyers assisted her in her appeal with the Loving versus Virginia case. And although they were consistently lost the appeals, each time they lost, they went up to a higher court, eventually to the U.S. Supreme Court. And in 1967, using the Fourth Amendment, which allows U.S. citizens the right to choose to marry whomever they want, the judge overturned the case, and they were allowed to move back home. And many changes came from there as well. The states, the federal Constitution, began making changes with all states. All states adhered to it except for 2 holdouts. South Carolina, who tweaked their state constitution to still ban interracial marriage or accept them until 1998, as well as Alabama, who changed their state constitution and to eliminate that, to make it difficult to be married interracially until the year 2000, not too long ago. When I married my husband in 1991, it had only been 24 years that it was legal to do so. Quite a path to where we are now, but well worth it. In conclusion, I'd just like to, with the education that you received on intermarriage in our country and how, using our Constitution, we were able to prevail, I'd like to conclude that you also get involved in whatever your heart sees needs to be changed. Many people want to know what they can do to change things, how to change things. What can I do? I'm not racist. What can I do to help? Well, the Lovings, people around the world have formed what they call Lovings Day. It's an actual day, June 12th of every year. Some couples get married on that day. Some just have barbecues, get-togethers, and put out the information. That we all need to accept each other. And so participating in that, getting the word out, that's just one small iota of how to help. But be active and be outspoken and make a difference. Simple. Thank you.